What's up, everybody? It's March 1st, 2016. Welcome in the Sosa Steam Room. On today's show, we're talking some Blackhawks trade acquisitions, the surprise turn of the man Dexter Fowler, Alshon getting that franchise tag, and, of course, your ninth place Chicago Bulls. Hit it. Shout out to Busta Rhymes. We don't even know if that's his song, but
I think it is.
We're just going to keep assuming until one of us actually looks it up, which probably we
Drew.
won't. I will not look it up. Like I said, what's up, everybody? Welcome in Sosa Steam Room, episode 007. We are 007 tonight. And my name is Drew, and the co-host of this podcast is Blake Van Pocky.
Hey.
Blake says, hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Just a couple of housekeeping things before we get into it. Send us an email at sosasteamroom@gmail.com. We have Twitter and Facebook accounts as well. Search Sosa Steam Room. We also have some personal Twitter accounts. Myself, at DN Edstrom, and Blake, your Twitter handle.
At Soldier Field BLG.
Awesome. Just want to apologize. We are recording currently in my bedroom, so you can imagine that however you want to.
Yeah.
But we had to relocate tonight.
It's not good.
So if there's some extra noise in the background, we really apologize. We tried to bring good quality every week. Not sure how this is going to go with cars and stuff in the background, but you know.
Drew really dropped the ball this week.
I really dropped the ball, so it's my fault. But whatever.
What are these from?
I'm not telling you. All right. Remember that time, Blake, when we were like, oh, Dexter Fowler, good luck, man.
Yeah.
Good luck, Dexter Fowler. We love you, dude. We love Dexter Fowler. Well, surprise.
He's back.
He's back. I have a good story behind this, like
Yeah.
where I was when I found out.
And I have a follow-up story to that one.
Okay, well, I'll go first. I was chilling in my living room, and I saw that the Cubs traded Chris Coughlin. And I said, oh, that's kind of weird. I wonder what they're doing. A
lot of people miss that.
They probably have a corresponding move.
Yeah.
And so I turned to my roommate, Carlton, and I was just like, dude, they're probably going to sign Austin Jackson right now. That was kind of like my hunch. Like, they're probably going to sign Austin Jackson.
He's still a free agent, too.
Yes,
right?
he is. Or our buddy Kristen Orfia, but that's not going to happen. And I stood up and I took like 3 steps and I looked at my phone and I saw like a tweet from Jesse Rogers being like, Dexter Fowler is at the field. And I like lost it. I freaked out.
Yeah, I know you did.
I texted Blake like 12 times.
Yeah, here's my follow-up story. I was taking a nap. And all of a sudden my phone just bzz, 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 bzz. And that woke me up. So thanks, Drew.
It was good news to wake up.
It was good news. I was a little confused of like 12 texts of just Dex. But, yeah, there you go.
Well, that's surprising news for all of us. The Fowler deal, 1-year deal with an $8 million base salary and a $9 million option for the following year.
Yeah.
He just showed up. Theo was a magician and just
as always
pulled
the
rabbit out of his hat, who
Yeah.
is Dexter Fowler.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on the deal?
Well, obviously, big fan of the deal. Wanted Dexter back, regardless of the situation in the outfield. And, he actually saved the Cubs some money by not taking that qualifying offer now. So,
Yeah.
But, yeah, good to have him back.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have Dex. Now you have a guy in center field now, Hayward in right, Schwarber in left. And they'll do some moving around. You got Soler still. And now on days that Schwarber catches, you can even put Soler in left field, which makes super outfield.
The filthiest lineup ever and a great outfield.
Super outfield. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. And
just having a guy who can play center and have Hayward play right is so nice.
Yeah, and you cover more ground, too. That outfield suddenly has a lot more range.
Oh, yeah.
So the outfield depth is very, very good. Mm-hmm. And the Cubs also added Shane Victorino,
the Flying Hawaiian,
which was a little interesting for me. I don't know if he'll make the team, but he's another good veteran piece. He's won championships and
very underrated career.
Yeah, very underrated career, and I bet he's a great clubhouse guy as well. So that's another guy who can play multiple positions too.
During the offseason, I think maybe last couple of years, him and Chris Bryant have been hitting and doing workouts and training in the offseason. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so fits right in.
Really cool. We'll see how spring training plays out and where Victorino kind of fits.
There's a lot of guys right on the edge.
Yeah, and now you have Matt Merton kind of like just shaking his head and crying.
Yeah, I know.
I like Matt Merton, but
I kind of want him to make the team, but
he probably
just for the Japanese media.
Yeah, seriously. Went over to Japan, had a pretty good career in Japan.
Yeah.
So in order for Fowler to join the team, front office obviously had to ship out Chris Coughlin. And my favorite, we like Cogs. My favorite Chris Coughlin moment is during that Reds brawl where Anthony Rizzo kind of like took on the entire team.
Yeah.
A little bit before all that kind of took place, Chapman was kind of chirping at the Cubs bench, and you see Rizzo get up there, and then you see Coughlin like right behind him, like cursing him out and stuff. And I just thought that was like a really that's a signature moment for like the Cubs as a whole franchise kind of moving forward, being like, we're not going to back down from anybody. We're going to stand up to you.
They kind of adopted that attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Joe
specifically, but yeah.
Yeah, and in return, the Cubs got Aaron Brooks, a pitcher. Mm-hmm. Brooks is 25 and was actually acquired by the A's last season in the Ben Zobrist deal.
Whoa.
He made 9 starts for the A's, 11 appearances with some kind of forgettable results.
Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about him.
Yeah, it's a 6.71 ERA.
And
that's not very good. And 6.18 K per 9 innings, 2.47 walks per 9 innings, and he'll probably be in the bullpen mix.
Yeah.
And that just adds more rotational depth for the Cubs, which is extremely important moving forward.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen with starting pitchers and their arms and stuff like that. So overall, the return for Coughlin, probably a little bit more, but with the Dexter Fowler deal in place already, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and they don't need Coughlin, really. Like, they already have enough utility guys who can play pretty much everywhere. So it's not, losing Coughlin's not a huge issue.
Mm-hmm. I'll miss him, though.
Yeah, I mean, he was good last year, and I would have liked to see him back.
I've always been a big Chris Coughlin supporter because...
Ever since 2008?
Yeah, ever since he won Rookie of the Year with the Marlins.
I found out 7 years later.
Yeah, I told Blake while we were at a game, I'm like, hey, do you know Chris Coughlin won Rookie of the Year? Not a lot of people probably know that.
That's a good piece of trivia.
That is great. If you're at a bar doing trivia somewhere, memorize that, because that's a good piece of trivia.
Memorize that, yes.
Cubs kick off Cactus League on Thursday. Travis Wood's going to get that start. And something that is interesting to me, which I think is very smart by Joe and the coaching staff as a whole, they're not using any of their top 3 starters until the following week.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, which will... they talked about trying to limit innings for their top-of-the-line starters and kind of save their arms.
Jake Arrieta
specifically, because last year we didn't really see, but we heard about how he was being more and more fatigued throughout the playoffs.
Well, we saw. Come on.
You're right. We saw. Yeah, we saw.
The first time it was only 2 starts, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the game 4 against the Cardinals where we kind of saw he started like just missing pitches really badly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be good for their starters. And I saw an interesting picture of Jake Arrieta doing the splits for one of his workouts. Yeah. Can you do the splits?
I'm actually pretty flexible, believe it or not. But
I don't believe you at all.
Not that flexible. Trust me, I'm actually really flexible. Believe it or not. I might not look like it, but I am. But no, I cannot do that. That is...
The cover for this episode is going to be Blake doing the splits. It's going to be amazing. And Jake Arrieta, obviously, they announced today that he is the opening day starter. Not a big surprise for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Happy about that.
Yeah.
Not happy about the late start time starting the season on the West Coast, but, I'll deal.
Whatever.
And we'll probably be celebrating the whole day, so it'll be
it'll
be a great time.
Yeah, we'll get late. Get to stay up late.
Watch
the boys.
Watch the boys play probably after a very, very pathetic Bulls game. But we'll get into the Bulls.
Wait, that'll be... Is that playoff time in NBA? Or is it like a little bit...
April 4th?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit beforehand. Yeah.
Okay.
You still got probably like 7 more games in the season at that point.
Oh, okay.
Or no, probably like under 5. But yeah, it's still regular season play. So we'll know a lot. We'll know a lot more about the Bulls at that point.
Yeah.
With everyone coming back. All right, Blake.
Okay.
Blackhawks. Blackhawks have been busy people.
Yeah, definitely.
So trade deadline stuff. Got Andrew Ladd back for a first round pick and Marco Dano.
Yes.
What is your reaction on that deal?
Well, obviously getting Ladd back is huge. He was probably the most sought after guy in the trade market.
For his name everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. There was I heard 9 teams in on him, and if the Blackhawks didn't make that trade when they did, his price probably would have been even higher, even though it was already pretty high with Dano and a first and a conditional pick too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the big one, obviously. But everyone kind of knows about Ladd, so I mean, we don't have to spend too much time on him.
And Dano has a ton of potential. He could eventually be a really, really, really good player in this league.
And I think he will.
Yeah.
Just Q, he was one of those guys.
He's a stickler. He's a tough guy on young dudes.
He didn't really get a lot of playing time or anything like that to really evaluate him fully, but Q didn't like him, so no reason to beat around the bush. Good to get a player like Ladd when they can. So
yeah, and Ladd will go into that first line with Haas and Taves, which will be a very, very good.
He already looked
first line,
pretty comfortable,
and he already has
first line.
He's already comfortable being here. He knows the system. He probably is very familiar with Chicago.
Yeah,
he has some buddies around here, and I think it was a very good deal for the Hawks. And it's a deal that proves that the Hawks are all in right now.
Yeah,
they are going for it,
as proven by the other
deals.
Too, but...
Speaking of the other deal, Dale Weiss and Thomas Fleischman for Philip Deneau and a 2018 second-round pick. Your thoughts on that deal?
I actually really like this deal. And a lot of people were kind of iffy about it, but Dale Weiss was actually one of the most sought-after players on the trade market, too. He's cheap. I know he's a rental. He might be a guy who could be up for a contract extension at the end of this year. We'll see. But I also like Thomas Fleischman a lot. Mm-hmm. 2 guys that will fit in right next to Teuvo Teravainen, which is the most important thing. They didn't trade Teuvo.
Thank God.
Instead, they find players to fit around him, which is, for a guy like that, is perfect for him. So.
Okay. From what I've heard about Teuvo, all the physical, everything's there. All the skills are there. It's just the mental aspect of things that I've heard is kind of holding him back.
Yeah.
And you add 2 guys to that line, Weiss and Fleischman, who already have a ton of chemistry together.
Yes.
And I think that can be huge for a young player like Teravainen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Teuvo has, like you said, all the tools that you need. He has a really strong two-way game, but a lot of people don't give him credit for that. And now all he needed was just talent around him, and Stan Bowman goes out and gets 2 guys that are have been playing with each other before in Montreal
and have playoff experience too.
Yeah, and apparently Bowman has Fleischman for a while, and just to get 2 guys to plug right in there and play with Teuvo is really, really good. And it makes all 4 lines stronger too, not just that one, because then you get to move Shaw onto the 4th line out of those top 6 minutes, and get that 4th line we saw last year that was really good, shutdown line. So.
Yeah, seriously, that 4th line last year. I remember you telling me that 4th line basically won us the Stanley Cup.
Yes, and as that happens with really good teams. Those 4th line depth lines really are huge in the playoffs. So it's good to get a line that has a lot of chemistry back, and then it's good to get a line with a lot of scoring potential with Teuvo and Fleischman and Weiss. So, yeah, I really like that trade. Didn't give up a whole lot either.
Yeah, I thought it was a total steal. We have a buddy who is